Welcome to the Lay Low Pod, the podcast that keeps it real while you figure things out. I'm Erin, and let's lay low. If you're in a season of becoming where life doesn't look how it used to, but not quite how it will, you're in the right place. Sometimes to grow, you have to lay low. Well, hello. Welcome to the Lay Low Pod. My name is Erin, and I am extremely excited today to have one of my best friends here, Tiffany Bown. She is coming to us all the way from that one stoplight town. Right, Tiff? This is just going to be like a real honest conversation because Tiffany I told her last night, she called me and she was like wanting to talk about how it was going to go today. And I basically said, don't worry. We're going to get on. We're going to chat like we normally do because Tiffany is a major introvert. And I feel like there's a lot of people in her world and her community that don't really know the real Tiffany. You are an introvert and I am an extrovert. So how did this happen? How did we become besties?
I remember going to your soda shack and I ordered I think I was drinking Coke at that time. And I was driving my car and I was wearing some sunglasses. My car was an Infiniti and my sunglasses were Tiffany's, and you were like the only one that knew anything about those.
So I complimented you on your bougie sunglasses, probably.
Yes, you did. And said that me and my mom and you needed to go shopping.
At Nordstrom, I probably said, right? Anniversary sale. Her mom is like a major powerhouse for that community. She started a real estate brokerage back when women were not starting businesses.
Oh, she started the brokerage in 1983, but she opened the malt shop and Charlie's Drive-In before that when she was pregnant with us. So probably when Todd was a baby.
So 70s.
Yeah.
Back then, there was no stoplights. Here's your mom opening up businesses, starting a real estate brokerage. That, to me, shows a lot of who you are because you have that drive in you as well. You have taken over the brokerage. I tell people that my bestie runs real estate in Central Utah. How is it like being a powerhouse woman, business owner in a one stoplight town?
I feel like I'm a powerhouse woman.
Oh my God, Tiff.
Because I don't feel like I flaunt. I feel like I have a team that makes up who I am. And we all work amazingly together, and I wouldn't be myself without that team.
You became my real estate agent. I was just feeling like, Erin, I got to have a change. And then at that time, the change was moving and building a house. So when we wanted to sell the house, I was just like, we have to have Tiffany sell it because she is the boss down here. And that was kind of about the same time the boys were starting middle school, and our two sons became little besties, and they're still besties. I remember hiring you as a real estate agent, and then you and I just like totally vibing. It sold really easily. And I remember going to lunch at that little Molina's Mexican restaurant back when it was on Main Street. And I felt then, Tiffany, like I could tell you were quiet, but I was like, I feel like we need to be friends.
I don't know. We just clicked. So it's hard to find a moment that it happened because it just aligned. We weren't really close until
my divorce, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I do believe that I looked at you as somebody who had already gone through a big change, and you had ended your marriage. How long were you married to your boy's dad?
Oh, 15 years.
Which is exactly how long I was married to mine. The boys hit middle school and they started this accelerated baseball team and they played together. That to me is really such great memories. We would travel all over the state. We would share hotel rooms. We would share Airbnbs. Between the two of us, we have 5 boys, and we would haul them around to all these baseball games. And to me, that is when our bond got deep.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I remember one time too, I was getting divorced, and do you remember that game in Payson where me and my ex-husband got in a huge fight and we started screaming on the bleachers?
Uh-huh.
And then I remember your ex-husband went to back mine up, and then you came to back me up.
Yep, I do.
And the whole team was watching.
I could so relate to that because that's something Todd and I did. So Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I always say getting divorced sucks, but being divorced does not suck. So the process is rough and maybe there's some fighting on the bleachers. Okay, but we eventually all got out of it. And I do think that both of us are extremely lucky for lots of reasons. One, our boys are so good. I just think the world of you as a mom. You're truly one of the best moms I know. And I think you have such rad kids. So tell me about the three of them.
Jaden is 25. He didn't go with us as much to baseball because he was always busy rodeoing with his dad. So, and then Jake will be 21 on the 30th of this month.
Troy is so excited for him to be able to gamble. Like, I think they want to go to Wendover for his birthday.
I'm sure they will. They go to the Indian reservation in California and gamble. So,
Yes, and the
yeah,
Indian reservation in Idaho. We just got
yeah,
to make sure that our boys, Jake and Troy, make some great career choices where they make a lot of money because they both have expensive taste. They like to
very
gamble.
expensive taste. Very
like
expensive.
their like their mothers, right? We can't
Yeah.
really talk too much.
I remember the first time Jake went gambling. We were on a cruise and he was just having the time of his life. He would stay up all night, but he would lose his debit card about every other hour.
It's just the adrenaline's kicking. I do think Colt, I kind of think the three of them are really close now too, because while Troy was on his mission, Colt, my youngest, hung out with Jake quite a bit. And I feel like the two of them really connected during Troy's mission.
I absolutely agree. And then Jackson, he just turned 15
Which
and
I
he got a
cannot even
learner's
believe
permit.
it.
And he is the boys' little brother. Even
All of
Colton.
them.
Yeah, Colton Troy's is too. So
Yeah, he is such a doll. I will always just picture little Jackson being hauled everywhere with us, all over with the baseball games. He would always order a side of ranch because he loves ranch. Whatever we were doing, whatever he was eating, he'd get a side of ranch. You and your baby daddy made some beautiful boys, I'll tell you
we
that.
did. We did.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember one of our very first trips when we went to San Diego? Had a little too much wine. I think we'd been on a wine tour that day and we met some random friends who took us to a steakhouse dinner with them. And then we ended up at a bar and we called both of our ex-husbands. We called mine first and he was just like, Erin, you're drunk. Go to bed. I think those were all his words. And then he hung up.
Todd was different.
Yeah. Then we called
You talked to
Todd.
Todd. Didn't you end up talking to Todd?
Yes, I remember we called Todd. Todd picks up and he was just like laughing at us. And I think at that point I was like, you have a cool ex. Like he lets you be you, like whatever. But mine wasn't there yet. Tiffany is my travel buddy. One of our favorite things to do is meet at the Delta Lounge at the Salt Lake City airport. It doesn't matter what time it is. I'm getting Prosecco or champagne or some sort of bubbles. And so we will sit there and we will just chat, chat, chat. And where do you think we're going to go next? We were supposed to go to Portugal this June, like
And
2 months ago.
I think we should have, but
You
we were
think?
too scared. But then I don't know. There was so much going on in my life. So
I kind of think the trips when we do plan ahead is our time where we just like completely catch up.
we can just be together and stop and not worry about work.
Yes. Unwind, be ourselves, shop. Those are our favorite things. She is my shopping buddy. Where do you think we should go next?
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, Tokyo. Tokyo's on our list.
Tokyo.
I want to go shopping in Tokyo so bad. I want to do all the secondhand luxury consignment shops. You can find such good old vintage designer stuff. That's what I want to do in Tokyo. Should we do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Tiffany's definitely my most introverted friend that I have. And there are things that I don't know about Tiffany. And so I made a list of questions I wanted to ask her. And let's see how open you are. What is a big misconception that people have about you?
I don't know what people think of me, so that's hard.
I think people respect you for sure. I think people are maybe a little intimidated by you.
Why be intimidated by me? Because I'm just a normal person. Is it because I'm such an introvert and quiet that
Maybe. And it might be because you're successful and you are a boss. And you might not look at yourself like that, Tiff, but everybody else does. Really. Like, you're such a badass boss. You live in an area where you're running real estate. You're selling $1 million homes in a community that there's not a lot of them. When people have a high-end house to sell, they're calling you. So I think that might just be some of the part where people might be a little intimidated. Have you always been introverted your whole, even like in high school?
In high school, I was a big flirt. I was voted the
So
biggest flirt.
that
Yeah,
is so
I
interesting. I had
know.
no idea.
Yes.
I am a flirt too. It's gotten me in trouble, but it's innocent.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah, I just was friends with everybody. I felt like, yeah,
You were the biggest flirt. Did they put that in your yearbook?
they did my senior year.
Isn't it funny that there are some people that don't even know what a yearbook is right now in the world? Like
That's
these young generations. They don't even know what it's like to take the Sharpie and write all those little messages.
and cross faces off.
I had a burn book. I actually just found it. That is the topic that we're going to talk about eventually on this episode. Life growing up in high school without technology, because I look at the kids these days and they just have such a different life and experience in school than we did without cell phones, without security cameras, without our parents tracking us. So that is what we're going to talk about later. Next question. How old were you the first time you got married? And I was a virgin on my wedding day. I lost my virginity on my brother-in-law's living room floor, literally in like 1.5 seconds. And then I was like, is
Does the
that what that
brother-in-law
was?
know?
Does what?
Brother-in-law know?
Yeah, I think it's come up at a family dinner or two. Were you a virgin on your wedding day the way I was?
Yes, I was a virgin.
You were? I didn't know that. I've never asked you that.
Yes, I was. But I got married in the temple the first time, but I really don't count my first marriage.
What age did you get married first?
21.
21. And it was a guy you knew in high school, right?
No, I met
How did,
him the end of my senior year.
was he older than you?
Yes, he had just returned home from a mission.
How long did you date before you got married?
Oh, a year and a half, maybe off and on, off and on.
That is long.
I know, but I broke up our engagement so many times. It just didn't feel good. And
You
this could be another episode. I felt guilted into it. I felt pressured.
to get married. I didn't know that.
My
Pressure
parents,
by who? By who? Your family?
no, my peers, everybody else, him. And I think that's probably what changed me.
You felt like you didn't have a voice even then.
But I can't look
Interesting.
back because that's who I am today.
Right. But also even you saying that out loud, because have you ever said that out loud?
No, I've thought it.
But
No.
saying it out loud, Tiffany, is going to heal. Think of that girl at 21 where your brain's not even fully developed. You are living in the same place you've lived your whole life, and you felt pressured to make the biggest decision of your life at such a young age. But now being able to say that out loud, think of her and being like, girl, that was really not fair to you, and forgive yourself for making that decision, because that's just part of your story. We don't have any regrets, but also forgive her for making decisions that she made, because I have felt that from my time in high school and college, and just being able to forgive yourself for that version when you're so much younger. That's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I had a missionary that was coming home. And my ex at the time really tried to pressure me into a serious relationship before he got home.
So you just felt like everybody was making your decisions for you.
Right.
So how long were you married the first time?
We lived together just under a year, and then I moved in with his sister, and he moved back to Gunnison. I was in Cedar City at that time going to school.
So about a year you were married. So you kind of felt like everybody was just really excited and happy for you more than you were, because you called off your engagement a few times.
A few times. My parents weren't happy.
They didn't want you to marry him?
No.
I didn't know that. Because I would have thought if you were trying to please people, I do believe that you really want to still make your parents really proud. I think that is a part of your...
I do, but I don't know that I ever will be.
Yeah. You hold yourself at a really high standard, Tiff.
No, I feel like my parents hold me at a very high standard, and I feel like I have failed them.
You're human.
I know.
And they love you. The same way, I mean, you think about your kids. If your kids messed up a time or two or 20, you'd still love them, right?
Yes, but I hope that I taught my kids, especially my older two, that it's okay to mess up. We're all human. We're going to mess up. Um, I feel like I have a relationship with my older boys that they will come to me. Where my relationship with my parents, I felt guarded and that I couldn't
I
open up.
felt the same way. I think that's one of the things that has bonded us as well. I think both of us were raised similarly. My dad was not Mormon. Your dad wasn't super into the
He,
church, right?
no, not until as of lately. And I don't think he's really into the church. I think he goes to sacrament meeting to support my mom.
Which is, I love your parents. I love your parents. But I think both of our parents are similar in the way of how they maybe parented us. We were probably, it was pretty strict. I had a lot of rules that I loved to break. Did you break rules in high school?
I did not dare. I was terrified of my parents. Absolutely terrified of my parents. I remember curfew if I wasn't home. There was one night I wasn't home by 11:30 and my dad came looking for me.
And we just wouldn't ever do that right now to our kids, huh?
No, but we have their location.
True. True. Oh my
And
God. Thank
if
God my
you
parents
know,
did not have my location. One time, Tiffany, I told my parents I went to the movies and I drove across the state line. This is when I was living in Iowa. I haven't even told all of the people about my parents moved me my junior year of high school from Dallas. I spent my junior and senior year in a college town, University of Iowa, Iowa City. It was a party town, and which absolutely influenced me. I had wild friends in Iowa. It definitely made me more wild living there, but I told them I went to the movies, crossed the state line, and then went to a teen dance club, dance, drove home. It was like a 2-hour drive, and my parents never knew. And thank God they didn't have my location.
well, I remember my friend and I drove to Mount Pleasant, which is only, what, 23 miles north. My mom checked the odometer and she knew I drove further than what I had told her.
She checked the odometer. That is
Yes.
so funny. So, okay, they might not have had our location, but she knew where you were. That is so
Yeah.
funny. What did you want to be when you grew up? Your mom had a very, very successful real estate brokerage at a really important time in your community where things were starting to get developed. And then they had restaurants, they bought commercial property. Is this something you knew you wanted to take it over, or did you have
No,
other dreams?
no, I had other dreams. I wanted to be a college dance professor. Um, yeah, I had other dreams.
You were a dancer all growing up.
I did teach dance at the college. And so, yeah, I feel blessed there. I had a really hard time going back to work full time after Jake. So that's when I decided to go into real estate.
Do you think any of your kids are going to take over your business?
I do.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. When is one time that I have really disappointed you?
You haven't disappointed me. I disagree with some of your decisions. I disagree with things you do, but you do that to me as well. And then I feel like we can have the disagreement. We get off the phone or stop texting for a little bit, brush it off, and then come back together and we're just fine. So I can't say you disappoint me. I think we're going on different paths in our lives, but we'll always come back together and be one. Just
We'll always stay connected, but yeah, we are on these different paths right now. And we
yeah,
originally wanted to do this podcast together. When I say that I had been thinking about the podcast and I was like, how do I do it? I just naturally thought I had needed to do it with somebody. And Tiffany and I talked about it for quite a while. I think scheduling would have been extremely hard. We never even can see each other. It would have been a nightmare trying to schedule this. I didn't know if you were ready to have your voice yet then.
yeah. And I think I'm ready to share part of my story, but I think a lot of it needs to wait until Jackson's a little older.
And I completely understand that too.
I get frustrated because my best friend's at a different place in her life and my husband's at a different place in his life. So it's like just kind of a battle.
Does it make you kind of have a hard time feeling like where you are?
I just feel old. So
Well, you just had a big birthday, and I think it did kind of shake you up a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Turning 50 sucks and then having your baby starting to drive sucks.
Yeah. I think also we just have to be honest that like your husband and I have an interesting dynamic because I don't think he really loves you hanging out with me. You had the first marriage, but we're not going to count that. Even though, Tiff, that did help shape your story. So I do think you
No,
should
it did
just.
because I feel like it really made me very reclusive.
And then you were married for 15 years to your boy's dad.
We met in April, got pregnant and married in January and had a baby in June.
So really fast.
Really fast.
Do you think you two were compatible, like from the start?
Think no.
But you just were in love and had like chemistry and.
Must have been.
Because
But
little
yeah,
Jaden got here.
yeah. Oh, I've got three amazing, amazing boys and one beautiful angel. So
You picked good for your baby daddy for sure. And sometimes you get mad at me because you want me to hate him, huh? Okay, let's be really honest, Tiffany. Okay, you can say it, girl. Say it.
I don't want you to hate him, but sometimes I feel like you stand up for him more than you do me.
Okay. Okay. And I never want you to feel that way. So I appreciate you telling me that. I didn't know you when you were married to him, ever. I only knew you divorced. I only knew him as the boy's dad. He showed up to all the games. He always took his custody time during those high school days. I just looked at him as a good dad and a good ex. And so maybe that was part of why I wasn't as hard on him. But I never, ever want you to think that I was taking his side over your side because that's just not the case. And I apologize.
I shouldn't have you choose like sides. And with your ex, I hold a grudge against him because everybody was only getting his side of the story and everybody was taking his side and nobody really knew the truth. And so they shamed you. And that bothered me because everybody shamed me.
It triggered you.
Yeah, it triggered.
Interesting.
Yeah. Your ex-husband, I think he's doing really good now. But he had issues and nobody knew.
Yeah, definitely. And nobody knew. You definitely knew. And it was really hard to be in a small community where he was kind of like the hometown boy, the local. He grew up there and I was the move-in. I remember one time during a fight, we both lived in our house during our divorce because it was like a legal thing. Both of our lawyers told us we couldn't leave the house. He came home and he had gotten some filing of some sort at the office. And he was like, there are people in this town willing to pay my legal fees to fight you for full custody because they don't think you're a good mom.
Yeah, that's what we deal with. And it's just, yeah, you probably triggered.
I think both of us were probably misunderstood during our divorces.
I do. I think Todd's ex-girlfriend caused so many crazy things and I just let it go. You have to choose your fight.
Getting divorced in a small town is so different than the city.
Well, everybody knows you and there's about 12 different sides.
Yeah. Everybody has an opinion.
And it's crazy how stories get made up. But yeah.
What is one thing that you have never told me?
I'm sure there's so many things. I bet you didn't know that my first kiss was when I was a sophomore in high school. And I thought that if I kissed somebody, I had to marry them.
You thought if you kissed them, you had to marry them.
So, yeah, because you wanted to be clean. So.
Because of the Mormon church.
Yes. So you want to be really particular on the first person you kissed.
Tell me about your first kiss.
The craziest thing, I was his first kiss and he was just getting ready to go on a mission.
So he was like 18, 19.
19 at that time, yeah.
19. My first kiss, he was on the baseball team. He was 16 and had this like red Tacoma truck, this little two-door truck. And he was a sophomore and I was a freshman. And he was my first, a lot of things. And we ended up stopped dating because I was a Mormon and he was a Baptist. And his parents were like, you're not allowed to hang out with her at all anymore. Because in Texas, like Mormons are kind of like really the devil. Yeah. And so his parents said he couldn't hang out with me anymore. And so that's why that ended. Isn't that sad? What is your favorite memory with me?
Holy cow. This is hard. I think, remember in Italy, we were going to just sit down and people watch for a minute. I think this is my funnest memory.
We were going to sit and have an espresso martini and then get on the train and go pack and go to bed early. Is that how the night went?
No, we were just going to people watch and then head back. Like you said, some scammers came and sat by us. I bought a fur coat. Remember?
Do I remember? Yes, okay. I remember.
So
clearly, I want you to tell the story, and then I'm going to tell my story because you had more espresso martinis than I did. I remember. So you tell me your side.
So we went in, tried on all these coats, and then I bought one, and I want to say it was about $4,000. It's not like a glamorous one. It's like I live in Ephraim fur coat.
We're going to get like to the ground fur coats, okay? Like mob wife, okay, babe?
After that, we went to a jewelry store, and I love diamond bands. I love diamond bands. I tried on a lot of rings.
And you bought one?
I bought one.
Do you still wear it?
I wear it, yes.
Good.
I love it.
Okay, I remember the night as we were going to have one espresso martini and get on the train. We were in Florence at the square where the carousel is, if you have been to Florence. So we were just going to sit and people watch, and these 2 guys sat down by us just to chit chat and then bought us a drink and then said, hey, I have a fur coat store and a jewelry store down the street. Do you want to come shop? And we were like, okay. Because fur and diamonds, Tiffany and I, we bond because we have expensive taste, and we have expensive taste because we work really hard, and that's kind of our reward, and we don't care at all about it. So we love to buy nice things, and we were like, okay, fur, diamonds, sign me up. So we went down the street, and then they opened a bottle of wine at the fur store. They were obviously trying to get us drunk so we would spend a lot of money, which it worked. You bought the coat. Then we went to the jewelry store, and I was looking at you and I was like, Tiffany, are you sure you want to buy this? Because it was 5 digits.
It was 6. 1, 2, 5. It was 5 digits.
It was a 5-digit ring. And I was like, girl, look in my eyes. I got you. I just want to make sure like you want to buy this ring. And I think I did it at the first store too, just because like, I just want to make sure you're good. And you were so excited. You were so excited about the fur. You were so excited about the ring.
Fancy County fur coat. Like I said, it's not a fancy one. It's
you love it.
I do love it.
And it's a memory. Okay. Tiffany had a couple Louis Vuitton bags and big orange bags that we were carrying all day. Maybe that's why they stopped to talk to us on that patio, because we had all these bags. We were prime targets.
Yeah.
We go to the train to go back to the hotel. So it had to have been probably about 10 p.m. Remember, we have like a 4 a.m. shuttle to the airport. She leaves me on the train and she's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom quick. Then the train starts moving and I don't know where Tiffany is. I text her. I'm like, where are you? And you're like, at the train station. And I was on the train with all the bags. Traveling as a woman in Europe, there is always like a little bit of like security where you're just really watching your surroundings at all times. I love to travel even alone. So I wasn't necessarily worried about that. But having all these bags, I kind of felt like I could get robbed. That was my concern. Plus, we had both had a lot to drink and I didn't know where you were. My phone was about to die. It was the last train of the night. I get to our train station, get off, get to the hotel, plug in my phone. I literally sat on a bench in the front of the hotel until you pulled up in a taxi.
I am so sorry I did that because that walk from the train station.
I think I had like mace or like I have this stabbing tool that I like to travel with. Remember that?
Yeah. What was our cute town? Montecatina?
Terra, Terre was the end. Monteterra. I don't know. It was so cute. It was the cutest little suburb outside of Florence, and it was precious. Yeah. Let's go back. Okay. Let's go back.
I'm for that.
I'm going to go back to Florence the rest of my life. So
you can do that.
Okay, so let's get into the topic of the podcast. I really just wanted to tell some fun stories of us before there was technology. I graduated high school in the year 2000. So when I graduated, I did not have a cell phone. I had a pager. I had a little green pager. Did you ever have a pager? Do you know what a pager is?
I know what a pager is, yeah.
Our kids don't know what a pager is, but a pager is this like little box. Mine was turquoise, and your friends would call the pager number and then you basically would put in your phone number to call back. You'd get a little alert on this pager and it was like a phone number that you were supposed to call. So it was probably like the original text message, but you had to call, right?
Probably.
So
I've never had one.
I had a pager, but I didn't have a cell phone until I went to college. When did you get your first cell phone?
Oh, we got our first cell phone. Todd and I shared it, and Jaden was probably 2 years old. I was going on a work trip to Iowa.
And you were like, I'm going to have a phone for
So
this
it's
trip.
probably about 27.
Okay. So let's talk about life through high school when you didn't have a cell phone. I feel like, do you remember when you'd have to call the house? You'd have a call the house line and you had a house phone and that you would dial the number and then their like dad or mom could pick up the phone. You'd have to ask for them. And then that's how we communicated. Isn't it wild to think of that?
Yes. And we had long phone cords so we could go hide in our room or somewhere.
Yeah. And we had to leave messages on answering machines. And then you'd get home from wherever you were and you'd see if you had a message and then you'd play this audio message. Like literally, our kids are going to listen to this, Tiff, and be like, that is so weird.
Yeah.
I would do a lot of prank calling growing up, but we would have to hit star 69 and we would prank call. We'd prank call the grocery store. Like we would prank call friends. Dating in high school with no cell phones, obviously different. Our kids are on Snapchat. My kids are on dating apps. It's so different for them thinking about their first relationships because they always had a phone. They had a phone to text. But what was it like dating in high school with no cell phone?
It was fun.
It was fun.
Because you had no interruptions. I don't know. Like kids nowadays, they're on dates and they're looking at their phone while their date's right there. Like, put your freaking phone down. It was fun.
It was like carefree and light, I think. We weren't so tied down.
Right.
We were in the moment, Tiffany.
Yep. It was fun.
So communication, did you ever pass notes?
All the time from elementary school on up. Yes.
Did you fold them in funny
Remember
ways?
middle school? Yeah. Oh, yes. In little shapes. Yeah.
Little shapes. So I moved to Iowa. Remember I said that junior year, and literally I was so mad at my parents. I show up in this town. I was like, oh my God, because the Midwest versus Texas is extremely different. But there was a brand new shopping mall that had just opened that summer in Iowa City. My mom was like, you got to get a job at the mall because that's how you're going to make friends before school starts. So I got a job at the Buckle and I spent all my money on Doc Martens. I met some people from my high school. They worked with me. I went out to my car one day and there was a note on my car from like this really, really popular guy in the high school. So he had come in and I remember seeing him, super, super cute, just kind of had this like kind of bad boy vibe. And I remember going out to the car and having this note with he left it on my car with his phone number. So we started talking, hanging out. When I started high school, my junior year, I was like the new girl in town from Texas. And they called me Tumbleweed because I had an accent. My dad got a personalized license plate on my car in Iowa and it said Texas Honey, like TXHUNY. Isn't that so cute? I still have it. This guy asked me to go to like the first dance of opening, this first like back to school dance. He asked me to go with him. And he had just broken up with this girl and she confronted me at this dance and slapped me. She ended up calling and apologizing to me because the guy told her that my dad was a doctor and we were going to sue her for assault. And so she like kissed my ass after that. Isn't that funny?
That's funny.
Yeah. And he was a good part of my high school days, and it ended because I wouldn't have sex with him. And he ended up dating one of my friends and married her, and they have 2 boys, and they're still married. So,
are you friends with them? Friends with her? Are you still friends?
Like, I'm Facebook friends with both of them, but I haven't spoken to either of them since high school. So that was passing notes. And that was like a good representation of high school because I remember her calling the house line. I remember calling his house line, his parents answering. And it's just so funny to think that was how it was. And our kids don't even understand that at all.
No. No, they would be embarrassed, I think. Our boys would be embarrassed if a girl called the house phone.
Oh, and had to
Colt
talk to
wouldn't.
us. They should be embarrassed. We
Yeah,
probably would be like, "So, who are you? What's your name?"
I don't think Colt would be embarrassed.
No, Colt would
Probably
not be
potentially.
embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're very different boys. Your boys are all really different as well. Um, and my boys are too, but I really do love that they all love each other. And I do think, Tiffany, it doesn't matter like what roads we go down. It's like if our lives keep evolving and changing, we're always going to have that connection. I think a big part of it is our boys. I think our boys are always going to be friends. And I think like it's just always going to be us and our boys.
Yep. Agreed.
Okay. Do you remember life before the internet? When did you get internet at your house, or did you have AOL? AOL was my first internet
I did
experience.
not have AOL. I think we had Yahoo. I don't know. My mom and dad had it at the office.
We would get into the AOL chat rooms, and my username was Buggin Babe, and it was Buggin Babe for a long time. Like that was my email for a long, long time. But I would talk to strangers in these like Dallas groups and then meet them at the mall. And now I think about
That's
meetings.
scary.
It is so scary. I was probably seventh and eighth grade because my friends at the time, one of them, her mom was a single mom. I don't know if she followed us. I don't know how she found us. She drug us out of a car in the parking lot of the bowling alley
Erin,
with some
that's
guys we met on
stupid.
the internet.
That's
What?
stupid. That is stupid. That's scary.
I know, but I was a little wild child. Security cameras were not a thing at this time, thank God, because I would have like a midnight curfew. I would leave the party, go home, wake up my parents and say, I'm home, I'm going to bed. And they're like, okay, good night. And then they went back to sleep. And then I would leave the house and I would literally like open up the garage door two different times. They didn't hear anything. And then I would go back to the party. And then I'd come home at 4 a.m. And
Wow.
my boys would never be able to get away with that now because of security cameras. And I will check the cameras and be like, what time did they get home? All the time. In Texas, so I remember it was my freshman year of high school, some of our neighbors had me dog sit for like a 2-week trip, and I would take my boyfriend over to their house. What was I thinking? Like, cameras, like that would never happen now. And I
No.
think back like, Erin, I would kill like even my nephew if I'm out of town and he's like, hey, I'm gonna go over. I'm like, no guess, no guess. I'm always like, don't bring anybody into my house. And I think about taking my boyfriend to my neighbor's house. Like, oh my God.
Wow.
I was out of control.
I never dared sneak out ever.
You never snuck out,
Never snuck
Tiffany?
out. No.
I feel bad for you. I wish
I
you
was
should sneak out
afraid.
now. Start
Oh
sneaking
yeah,
out.
yeah.
It's fun. Just kidding. Do you remember life before we could put an address in our phone and get to a place? Because I'm all over the place here in Salt Lake, and with traffic and everything, I put everywhere I'm going, I put in my map because of traffic. I just want to know the quickest way to get there. But I remember my mom having a huge map. It was called like a Mapsco or something. And it looked like an atlas. And when we had somewhere to go in Dallas, she would get it out the night before. She'd figure the address and she would write out instructions how to get there. Then once we had a printer at home, internet, she would put the address in MapQuest and then print it out and then take the printout with us for directions. But you lived in a one stoplight town. You probably didn't have to do all that.
No, we learned how to read addresses, so we can
But how
find
would you
them.
know where it was?
The house numbers, the
Oh,
numbers.
right. Explain
But like,
to people. Wait. Explain to people that aren't familiar with the Utah grid system how addresses work here.
so you've got the middle of town, it's Center Street, and then everything north of Center Street would be 100 north, 200 north by blocks. So it's the block system. South, same thing, and then east and west. So anything west of Main Street would start with a 1, block system 2, 3, vice
And
versa.
that's how, like, even Salt Lake was all built on the grid system where you can find any address in Salt Lake if it is a number street. Like, I live on a south and I live on a east. So you can find most things pretty easily. But in your town, it was probably easy with that.
Yeah, but then
What about
we always used maps when we went on vacation.
the atlas? Take the big atlas with
Yep.
you. What about photos? I remember printing photos. My mom would take us with our film. We had a camera with film and she'd take us to Target because in Dallas, Target was just like a big kind of like a big drugstore and we would get our film developed at Target as a little girl.
Mhm.
So, do you remember having like a camera with film?
Yes, we would take them to the grocery store.
Like gross and get your film. That was so fun when you pick up your pictures and see
Yeah.
what pictures you got.
Yeah.
I'm so sad our boys will never have that experience.
No, they won't.
My first digital camera I got my junior year of college at BYU, and I remember it was like $300, and it was a 3.2 megapixel camera, and it was blurry AF. But isn't it so funny to think now? That wasn't even that long ago. I was in college not that long ago. It is so, so funny to think of that. Do you remember with music, the radio station? And in Dallas, we had 106.1 Kiss FM, and we would call into the station and request songs and
Request song.
dedicate them. Did you do that?
Yes.
What
That's
radio
so
station
funny.
did you do that? Did the local
So we
station?
had, no, they KMTI was our local station. I don't think they did that there. But there was, what was it, like K-Bear? There's a DJ that was from Ephraim that you just call. Yeah,
So funny.
Brandon,
And
Brandon
then
Young.
and then burning CDs. Like once we had digital music, we would
Okay,
make
but we did
wait, mixtapes.
cassette tapes. Yes.
Cassette tapes. Did you take the Sharpie and write on the cassette tape too?
Yes. Yes.
You'd
And
have
then
to rewind them.
the missionaries would send you a cassette tape with a message so you could hear their voice.
I didn't know this.
Yes.
Tell me more.
They would just send you a tape, say, because they couldn't call you.
Did any of your brothers go on a mission? Wait,
I would
Tiffany's
say,
a twin. We didn't even say that. Tiffany has a twin brother.
yes, and we don't talk. Another story, another day.
You're going to come back, aren't you?
I don't know. We'll see.
Did either of them send you cassette tapes with messages from missions?
No, just some friends. Just friends.
Friends did. That is so funny. I didn't know that.
I think you know one friend. And
Who?
he gives you the ick.
He gives me the ick. There's a lot of guys down there that give me the ick.
Who is married to one of your really good friends who lives in Arizona now.
Yeah, major ick. I'm going to get her on here. I actually talked to her this week about it. She has to come on. Oh my God.
Your ex-husband's coworker, he is his twin brother. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
He would
crazy
send
about
you
him.
audios.
Yeah, but I was crazy about him.
You were a flirt and these boys were just sending you audio tapes from their mission, Tiff.
Yeah. Yep. And then
They all wanted to, no wonder they all wanted to come home and marry you because you were a catch. You are a catch. Tell me something that you really wish that your kids could experience from your childhood.
I wish they had the horse rides that I had with my dad. I wish they had that experience. Dragging mane, they don't do that anymore. Living in a small town still, the boys have had some fun experiences. So.
Yeah, they have a good little group of friends. I think, Tiffany, more than anything, I wish you could see yourself the way I see you. Because I see you as this amazing mom, incredible wife who works her ass off. She provides for so many people. You provide a good life for so many people, and it doesn't come without a lot of stress. And I just am protective of you that way, where I just always want everybody in your life to really appreciate you because I appreciate you. And I hope that I am always vocal about that to you, that you know how much you mean to me, because I'm going to talk about friendships in that small town where I had some friend divorces and you were with me through those. I lost Amberly to cancer and I got abandonment issues from that. And then going on and having two really strong friendships that ended abruptly. And you were really, really always there for me. And we've kind of had this pact that we're never going to leave each other.
No, we'll live next door when we're old.
I think we're going to be somewhere near the water. I got to teach you Mahjong though, because we are going to be playing in the nursing home, Tiff. You promise you're going to learn with me?
Yes, I promise.
Okay. Anything you want to share before we close out?
Just that I love you and I'm proud of you and always here for you.
I love you. What do you think the boys are going to think of today's episode?
Jake will be embarrassed, and Jaden and Jackson won't care. How about yours?
Oh, they're so used to this now. I think
Okay.
they just either roll their eyes at me or they just say, "Give it to you, Mom. You can get up there and just spill your guts." Well, I hope you come back, Tiff, because I want you to keep sharing your story and your energy. We didn't even touch all the things that we can talk about. So love you, love you, love you. Thank you for laying low with us today, and we'll see you next time.